Hey everyone. In this video, I'm going to go over how I made this human face with the edge flow that you see here. This is not really a character video, it's just showing how I made this like the edge flow to create this. And then you can use this to either follow when you're retopologizing, or if you want to follow along and make something like this and then sculpt it to your character, you can do that too. But before I get into that, I just wanted to say, I know it's been a while since I've created a video, and I noticed that in I think a month or two ago, I hit 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for subscribing if you have. And I want to keep making content that you guys like. And the reason I've been on a little hiatus is I moved. I used to live in New Jersey, and now I live in Missouri. We moved to be closer to some family, and I've been just trying to figure out life. I also have a 3-year-old that we are potty training, so that's fun. But anyway, thank you for subscribing, and I hope to grow this channel. I recently got a 3D printer, and I've been exploring stuff with that as well. I've been doing more sculpting rather than box modeling for that, so I'm probably going to do videos in the future with making flexy articulated characters. So if you like that, let me know what you want to see, and yeah, we'll get into the video. All right, so here we are in Blender, and we have the cube, the camera, and the light. Let's hide the camera and the light, and let me turn on screencast so you can see what I'm doing here. And let's select the cube with left click, tab into edit mode. You see the points here. And then we're going to right click, subdivide, and then right click, subdivide again. And then we're going to take this, hit F5, it might be F3 for you to bring up this search window here. And let's do 2 sphere. And then there, it's just, the cube is transformed into a sphere now. Let's see, let's hit 3, and then we'll get to the side view here. You know what? I want to save this. Okay, last time I did not save. I recorded and got to the ear. I got the whole face done, the whole back of the head, and it quit out, and I did not save. And since I did not even have a save, there was no recovery file. So here I am starting from scratch, and let's hope it's a better face this time. So let's get into, we'll hit Z, we'll get into wireframe mode. And then we're going to use the B select tool. Well, first we'll hit the A key twice to deselect everything. Then we'll hit B and get this box select tool. We'll select these front vertices, hit X, delete the vertices. And then we'll take this edge loop here, we'll double click on it, hit the E key and hit the Y key, and that'll extrude it on the Y axis. We'll just scale down a little bit. And then we want to pivot around these points here. So we'll hit A again twice, hit B, box select, just those 2 points. We're going to move the cursor with Shift S, and we'll put the cursor to selected. Now we can rotate these points with the box selection tool, select them, and then hit R. Oh, I forgot to do something. Let the period key first. So right now we're doing median point. Let's do 3D cursor. And now it'll pivot here. So let's hit R, and let's rotate it right about there. Then we'll do the same thing with the bottom vertices. And then I want to get these vertices right here. So with the box selection tool, for B for box selection tool, select these ones, not this one here. And we're going to hit F3, and we want bridge edge loops. And then we're going to hit Control R, put a loop cut in the middle there, and then we can make a face here. So we have 4 vertices. That'll make a 4-sided polygon. So we'll double click that, hit face, and then double click, hit face on the other side. And now, before we move forward, I would like to turn on X axis symmetry, just in case we move anything, then it happens on the other side. Keeps everything symmetrized. And we're going to add some more loop cuts here. That's Control R to add a loop cut. And then you can scroll on your mouse wheel, scroll down, and I want 3. So then I'll just left click and right click. Yeah. So now I want to make this to a sphere. Just select everything with A. And I think what it's going to do is it's going to make the sphere around the 3D cursor. So we're going to Shift S. We're going to get that to the world origin. So it's like right in the center. And then hit F5 and to sphere. And then drag the mouse until it's all the way to a sphere. And there you go. That's a human face. No. Let's bring the mouth down. We'll use proportional editing up here, and I like connected only. I don't know why. Let's just bring in that mouth crease. Let's also just bring it down. Yeah, I want to bring this all down too. Just because that's where, like, the mouth isn't in the center here. It's like down here, right? So, okay, so let's see. Now it's looking like a fish right now. So I'm just going to move some points to get something nicer. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I tend to spend a lot of time on this, even when I don't need to at the moment. So, get more of a chin. The shape is a little bit big, but we can always scale it down later. Oh, let me hit period and then go bounding box center. And that'll make it nicer there. Select all of that and just bring that in, bring that down. You can already kind of see it's a better shape right now. So let's move those down, put those down too. And that's looking pretty good. Okay. So now we're going to take these vertices. That's selecting all those. And we'll come with the mouse right here. We'll hit V, and that'll split those vertices there. And then we're going to bridge these off. So select those, hit F5, bridge edge loops, and then add a loop cut there. And then we're going to make these faces, double click that hole, and then hit face. That's good. Whoa. All right. So now this is going to be where the brow will be. So we'll add some loop cuts here, and then I always get this wrong. Okay. believe it or not, that's where the eye is going to be. So let's do one thing here. Let's kind of want to smooth this out. So let's bring these together. These more over here, these there, and these there. And what I'm doing is, if you double click on an edge loop and then you hit G and G again, it will slide that edge loop in between the edge loops on either side. Just a nice way to move things around here. Just kind of like slides things. Like you don't want things to be too close together. You want the topology to be spread evenly. But at this point, it really doesn't matter too much. So now let's delete. Actually, it's easier to do it if we go from the side, select, like box select this. And since we're in wireframe, it'll select right through. So now it's deleted the vertices. We wanted it to for the eye. Now, there is a lot of geometry in here. So let's delete some edge loops. I don't like the amount of geometry we have for the eye right now, but let's see how many vertices do we have around the eye. I would like to have 8 at the least, maybe 10 is better. But up here, I think in this one, you bring this down and you hit statistics, it'll show you how many vertices you have selected. So I have 6. All right. So I think I want to put a loop cut there, and then a loop cut here, and then open that up. Things are starting to smooth out here now. Let's see. So I want this to look less like an alien. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the back half of the head and just work on the face for now. So we're going to delete this edge loop of vertices, and then hit the L key. It'll select all the vertices that are connected to that piece, and you just delete that with the X key and then delete vertices. So this is much easier to work with. We just have this front, because there's a lot of like rotating I need to do for this, because the eyes are rotated and just in the wrong area right now. So I want this region right here to be like the inner corner of the inner, like the inside of the eyebrow, basically. And then these 2 rows of faces, or columns of faces, are going to be the nose. It's starting to get there. Okay, I tend to get quiet when I'm just working on this. Yeah, I think I want another edge loop in here and another one there. So then now that I've added that edge loop, we have an odd number, so I like to make it even. I don't even know if I need to. I don't know if that's good. Good to have, or like, is it better to have an odd number of faces or vertices around the eye, Or is it better to have an even number? So you bring the route forward there, and this is going to come back. It's already looking a lot better. So now let's get the nose geometry. I want this to be more of like this shape here. Okay, yeah, let's get the nose. Just gonna move the mouth down a little bit. Let's just get the geometry for the nose here. So what I want to do is I want to take these faces and then open them up. So V, just like that. I just realized you don't even need to hit B. I think that was an old thing. I think I'm always in box select by default. So we'll just drag box select all of these, hit F3, bridge edge loops, Control R to add an edge loop here. And then we will double click these holes and then hit F to make them faces. Then I just want to select all this and just hit smooth vertices really quick. Then I want to add another edge loop right here. And I also want to take all of these and just slide them down. Slide that back. And then all of these here, let's slide those there. That's better. Okay. Because now I just needed more faces here. So I'm going to go to face select, and I want to select these faces. And I'm going to extrude them. And then go back to vertex select, do smooth vertices. Let's do it again. And that's good. And then let's bring these in closer together a little bit. Also bring this in closer because I'm going to bring this down. Just set up the shape, bring these in, because the nostril is going to be right, I think right here. We're going to go back to face select mode up here, and we're going to take all of these and all of these, and then extrude them, then go back into vertex, smooth, and let's just bring them back there. So now we have this nice edge loop around this like loose part of the nostril. It's hard to show you when I'm not on screen. Should probably set that up at some point. So now we have our nostril area. Just want to shape things so that it's better to shape it and then add the more geometry later. So let's go. It's looking pretty good. Now I want to extrude these out. And then the reason I'm extruding them out this way is because, I'll just show you. So if I were to extrude both of these, and like if I right click now and then I try scaling them in, see how it's like it's extruding them and the vertices that I extruded them from. That's because I have X axis mirroring on and I have proportional editing on. So now it would scale them in, and it's scaling them the wrong way. So I'd have to, it's scaling them between like the bounding box center of all of these vertices. So to do what I want would be to hit hit the period key and then change it to individual origins. And now it will scale them correctly here. So now to delete those vertices and show you what I wanted to do, turn these back on, select both of them again, and if I extrude them out, right, I don't have to turn these off. I can just deselect everything and then reselect just this one. And now I can edit this without having to turn off everything and then turn it back on again. I don't know. It might not be the best way to work, but it just seems the most efficient for me. Rather than having to click up here, I'm staying right in here. So now I want to close the nostrils up after I move some stuff around. Okay. This is looking pretty crazy right now, but that's what happens in the early stages, right? While I'm moving points around here, I just wanted to go over some of my thoughts about box modeling versus sculpting. I think if you're working on like a senior thesis animation project or just a animated short, and you're not showing off character design as much, you're just showing off animation, box modeling is the way to go. And getting your topology right first is best, because it helps with rigging and with shape keys, like face shapes. But if you're doing still art or you want to show off character design more, sculpting is definitely better for that, because you're not confined to the box of topology at first. You can kind of just draw in 3D and sketch and explore shapes and stuff. It's so much more freeing. I've tried it for 3D printing. That's mainly how I create characters for 3D prints. So I would like to know your thoughts too. I definitely think that it is a personal preference too. Like, I think some people like box modeling and some people like sculpting. So it also comes down to which is more fun for you. So yeah. Anyway, so now we have the nose. Oh, I wanted to close these off before I got carried away. So let's take this vertice. We're going to take the opposing vertice. This is like just right across, and we'll hit face, and then it'll make a line between them. Then we want to hit Control R and put a point right in the middle there. Then we're going to take the vertices by 4 and just hit face. Then this last one you can just double click. We'll do the same thing over here. Okay, and then let's create the nostril holes. So we'll hit face select over here. This is C for brush select. So select those faces and just extrude them up. And that's good. Okay, now hit Apple S, save it so I don't lose it this time. Go back into vertex selection mode, and let's see, what else do we need to do here? So the face is looking pretty good. I'm gonna do the eyes now. So I'm gonna do a similar extrusion thing. Just extrude them out, make it look really weird, and then bring it back here. So now you can see we have the brow here. We need an eyeball to model the eyelid around. So if I double click to select this and then hit Shift S to for cursor to select it. Now if I tab out of edit mode and then hit Shift S, oh no, Shift A, and we will add a sphere. So mesh UV sphere. And then that's way too big. So we'll tab into edit mode and scale it down. And I like to rotate it so that the pole is facing this way. And then I might want to bring it back, make it larger. I don't want it to cross this axis here. So bring it back a little bit more. Okay. Maybe scale it down a little bit. Okay. So now we are going to, we want to mirror the eye over to the other side. So to do that, we have to change its origin point to the 3D, to the center. So let's Shift S, cursor to world origin, and then hit F5, and we're going to search origin 3D cursor, and that puts it in the middle there. See the orange dot? Now we can go over here to the modifiers tab, and it's a little wrench. Hit add modifier, hit search, and mirror. And there we go. Another thing we can do is we can select our face here, and then we can add a modifier, search, and do a subdivision surface modifier. And that will smooth out our face there. And that'll show me some areas that I want to edit and distract me from continuing with what we need to do for video. So we need to create edge loops for the eyelid. So we're going to create those there, and then I'm going to just bring those out and just make sure these are all, you want to get them like kind of close to the eyeball. Probably a smart thing to do would be to use the snapping and just snap them all the eyeball, and then like scale them out so they're kind of just sitting outside the eyeball. But I think just dragging them out like that did the work just fine. So now we want to get some like creasing up in here. So we'll create another edge loop, and then we'll bring this back. And then this needs some support. So we'll create an edge loop inside and then bring that up there. another thing we can do is we can have our eyelid vertices pivot around the eyeball. And the way we can do that is we'll tab out of our face, select our eyeball, tab into edit mode, and now with our eyeball fully selected, we'll hit Shift S, cursor to selected. Now it's at the exact center of the eyeball. Tab back out, tab into our face, edit mode, and then if we hit period and do 3D cursor, now when you select one of the vertices here and you hit R twice, it will rotate it around the eyeball. So this is also nice when you are creating the shape keys for the eye. See, like, this is not exactly how the eye would close, but like you can see how this would be useful to create the eye closing shape keys. So okay, so that's looking somewhat decent. Okay, well now we have eyelids, and I'll just bring these back. Okay, so let's create the rest of the head here. And I want to bring everything above this line here. So let's select both of these. So we have the eyeball, we're in object mode right now, and we have the eyeballs and the face selected. And if you hit tab when you have multiple things selected, it brings you in edit mode for all of those things, which is nice. I don't think that feature was always a thing, but I'm glad it was added. So now we select everything, and you can just G, Z, and everything now is above this, the y-axis line, just the floor here. So now let's create the rest of the head that we had before. So we'll tab out and we'll deselect everything. And then let's hit Shift A and add a cube. We're basically, I'm gonna hit Alt G because I think the cursor is in the wrong spot. So put that back. So we have a cube. We're basically creating what we had before, just the back side of it. So have a cube, tab into edit mode, right click, subdivide, right click, subdivide again. Now we have our subdivided cube, and we hit F5 to sphere, drag all the way out. Now we have that sphere. Let's go into wireframe mode. So you hit the Z key, wireframe, and then deselect everything and box select these front faces, and let's delete them. So now this is the back of our head right now. So now let's hit period, do bounding box center. Now this new object doesn't have the symmetry on, so we'll turn that on. And then now we can kind of get the back of the head shape here. So this, we have to join these together, right? So tab out of edit mode, let's go back into solid view, and let's join these two meshes together. So we'll select this one, and then we'll select this one. You always select the one you want to join into second, and then we will hit Control J. And what you'll see happen is this will inherit the subdivision modifier from this as it merges into that one. So now it's smoother than it was before. So now let's just squeeze that in a little bit. And if we double click on this edge loop here, you can see that we have 16 vertices. And then if we double click here, we have 24 vertices. And if we were to bridge these now, F5, bridge edge loops, creates a bunch of triangles in there. So we don't want that. So we're going to undo that. And we need to get this vertice count to be 24. So we need to add some loop cuts to get that in there. So adding a loop cut here, that'll add 2 vertices. We'll add a loop cut here, add another 2, so that's 20. And then if we add one here and one here, that should be 24. And so now we can select these edge loops and hit F5 and bridge edge loops. And now you can see we don't have any triangles. They're all rectangles, which is great. So we want to add another loop cut in here because we want to like shape this out here, like give it less of a sloping brow here and something like that. More of a forehead. And we also want to move these so we have more of a jawline here. Just kind of want to even things out, you know? Okay, so that's not too bad. Let me see. I want to bring this out a little bit. I don't know. Honestly, sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing, just pretending to. It's not bad. So let's create actually, let's not create the ear just yet. Let's create a neck. So bring this forward and down a little bit. We want the neck to come out of, I think, this ring right here. So let's go into face select mode and we will select all of these faces, extrude them down, and let's rotate them and then hit SZ and hit 0, so it just flattens them out. Add a loop cut there, add a loop cut there. It's kind of a square neck there. Maybe I shouldn't add that loop cut just yet, because if you Control 7 to change the view, you can kind of just round this shape out here. I'm just going to scale that in a little bit, get a edge loop there and just scale that in so it's not looking just straight down. There, that's not bad. Yeah. So now we have a neck. Now we have, like, you can see where the jaw is, and that will help us place our ear. So I'll bring the jaw out just a little bit more. And hit Apple S because I don't want to lose this. again, and let's see. I was going to see if I could make this video shorter this time, but it's not looking like that. I keep wanting to change shapes. I just move stuff around, which I really don't have to. But I want to make this look nice so that you'll want to follow it, because if I make a weird face, then you'll be like, well, I don't want to make a weird face. I'll, you know, so I'll make a nice face for the thumbnail, or a nice-ish face for the thumbnail. And I don't want to add, like, I want to make sure that the face in the thumbnail is the face I make in the video. You know, that's nice. I think this is where you could just spend all day if, especially if you don't have a sketch, you know, of like a character that's designed. Actually, what would be nice to do is move these all down and then create like this in here. That creates that crease. Actually, yeah. Okay. You can bring up the subdivisions to kind of see what it's looking like. This is looking kind of pointy right here. So I'm gonna bring these in and then these out. Okay. I think it looks better with the faces like this right now. I feel like you can add more detail when there's color, and yeah, when like color, I think when I've made faces before, when you add color, you kind of see where you want the shape to be. Anyway, let's create the ear. So this is where it dropped out the last time. Okay. So I have a reference image for the ear. So I'm going to just drag this over to get another window inside the Blender window. And then I'm going to change it to the UV editor. And then I'm going to get my ear image. So this is what a human ear looks like. Like, let's get our shape. So we want to create the ear outside, and then we'll bridge it to the head later on. So we're going to add a cube, and then we'll tab into edit mode, and we're going to bring the cube away from the origin here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror it so that as I'm creating this ear, it'll create that one too. And then we'll subdivide it twice, do kind of the same thing. Nope, not bridge edge loops. We want to sphere. That'll just round everything out. And then what we want to do is we want to just scale these like this, just flatten it. Scale these like that, flatten it. And that's just giving us a nice disc shape to work with. Now, if you're creating like a cartoony ear, you can kind of just like go into face select, get these, extrude them in, and then get these ones, extrude them in, and then smooth that out. So now you have these like circles here, and you can see like maybe you want this one to be a little bit smaller. You can see how like kind of just gives kind of like detail, but not the exact anatomy, but something enough, you know, like ears that you see in like on anime characters. You just bring down the lobe here. And then you could like get this little thing here. That's usually what they have, right? And then just extrude that. Oh, extrude that and smooth those. And you've got like, that's a decent ear, right? But I want to try to get something like this, like something in between this and that. So I've done this ear before, but yeah, I think I want to do something a little more detailed. So we will undo, actually, yeah, we'll just delete all those vertices, add the cube again, subdivide, subdivide, F5 to sphere, create that disk. Oop. And then we'll scale that like that. So now let's bring this forward so that it's not on top of our face here. I might change this to the image editor so that our topology is not going over that. So now what we want to do is, it's almost like this is a circle. It's a weird shape. So there's like this here, and then there's this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a circle here, and then like a circle here. So we'll extrude this one first and then this one second. So let's see, we'll rotate the ear like that. And then I guess we'll get it like kind of oblong looking now, I think. So then let's turn on solid mode. We'll do face select, and we're going to take these and we'll extrude them in. And then I want to get this here. So I'm going to add a loop cut and then like kind of move this in. Select all these faces. Oh, face select mode. Select all these faces and then kind of scale them in so we can see our circle here. Let's bring that out just a little bit. Let's see where it is. Ooh. There we go. Okay, so now let's actually do these. And then these. Oh, wait, I don't want these. Oh, I don't want these. Let's see how that goes. And then we'll just extrude those in. Maybe that's not what I want. Maybe I do want all of these here. And we'll extrude all of those in. And then what's nice to do is we can just take everything, going back into vertice, and just smooth it. And I don't know if this is exactly what I wanted. No, I want this to come out. I think we're losing our shape here by smoothing it out, but we can bring it back by pulling vertices out. This is the most difficult, I think, area of topology, at least for me. It'd be a nice thing to like sculpt and then retopologize. Although I don't even know if that would be, I don't even know if that would be easier to retopologize it. But I think this kind of demonstrates what I was saying before, is like you are like pigeonholed, for lack of a better term, to the topology you're creating. Like right now, this is what I have to work with. If I was sculpting, I could just like draw all of this. I could just, sculpt it. But I think that's the cool thing though. Like you can create this by a series of extrusions, right? You can create something that looks like a human ear through a series of extrusions. Okay, that's not bad. Now we want to create like this area here. Actually, this kind of comes up, right? So maybe we'll take these vertices and bring them up. Then it's flatter. Another thing we can do is we can add a subdivision surface, and we can see how it's looking when it's subdivided. I feel like it might be getting better now. Just keep working the points until you get something that you like. Okay, that isn't too bad. Now I just want to create this area right here. So we might be able to just pull these. Maybe not. I think the best thing is to, actually that's It's not that bad. I feel like the ear is not something that you look at a lot on a character, which is why I think you can get away with just making kind of like an easy ear that's not exactly like this, you know? I don't think you're going to look at a character design and say, wow, I really like the way they did that ear. Maybe you would. I don't know. But okay. So this is looking very, I want to kind of like flatten this out here somehow. Okay, that's better. Now we can take our ear and just like rotate it, get it into position. And usually the top of the ear is in line with the eyebrow, and then the bottom of the ear, I think it's in line with the bottom of the nose. I don't know. I'm not like consulting an anatomy book right now, but I think that's how you're supposed to get like the ear size. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think this looks all right. So now it needs to be a little, it looks small. It looks good here like this, but it looks small when I look at it from the side. But maybe that's because the hair is not there yet. But anyway, let's try getting this connected to the head. So I'm going to leave it out here for now, and I'm actually going to hide it because I want to show you, or actually figure out where I want the ear to connect to. So I think last time I did it, it was something like this. Like I took a square, like 4 vertices, and deleted them and connected it that way. So we'll try that. So now we have to apply, actually, I think I would rather do this with a mirror modifier. So let's go into our face, tab into edit mode, and then wireframe. And let's select the one side of the face and delete it. Then we'll add a mirror modifier, search mirror, and I just want to show you. So this line here, this is happening because the mirror modifier is happening after the subdivision surface. So you want to just drag it up and watch the line, watch that seam as I put it there. Now it goes away. So you can even see that it's better to see it when it's more subdivided. So there's the line, and there it goes away. So if you ever get a crease in your model, that's why. So now we can select our ear, select our face, then Control J. Now our ear is connected. It's like in the same object as our face is. We'll bring that subdivision down again, and let's see how the ear So this is where we want it to be. We want to move these faces, these vertices out of the way, move them a little bit forward. So now let me see. I don't like that those. Yeah, there we go. Hang on, it looks like something. Maybe not. Okay. So we need to delete like the same amount of faces. Maybe we want to do it right here. So I think that makes it so that, let's see, how many faces do we have here? Actually, no, that was bad. You want to do it like this. So now if I select that loop, there's 12. And if I select this loop, there's 24. And if I bridge the edge loops, that should be fine. Okay, great. So now I can move that into place. And then what we want to do is we want to let's actually turn off the subdivision modifier. And you want to just slide these so that they look really weird. Just want this to be rounded and smoother. Like we want this to transition nicely to the ear here. So you can just select, I want to select the inside. I want to select these, and then that's better. And that's better. Maybe. Just want to smooth all of these out. We want a nice flat transition right here. So basically you just keep sliding them back and forth until like they flatten out. Wow, this is looking really weird. Okay. It's kind of a nightmare, but you might be able to smooth these out too. Just select them all and then smooth them, but this is also a way to do it. Just kind of move vertices until they look better. Let's turn the subdivision back on and see if our smoothing has helped. And I think it has a little bit. Actually, what we could do too is we can hit this button right here and then go into face select and then select some of these faces that are around this crease. Cross our fingers and go back to vertex select and just smooth in. selective face. I don't want to smooth these anymore. Let's just smooth those. So this is, I don't know what view mode this is. It shows, it basically takes the geometry that you're working with and it curves the edges so it conforms to the subdivision that you have. And it's not the best idea to edit in this mode because like you could go back into, you could turn this off, and some of the vertices, like you'll notice that some of these are like way out here because I just it kind of messes up with the way the vertices are. So this is the best way to edit topology when you have like a subdivision surface. Now what I should have done was I should have created a seam. So if I, let's see, if I take this edge loop and I create a seam. So I have an edge loop that's going all the way around and I hit U and I say mark seam. This is for UV unwrapping, but you can also use it for like separating where you want to select. So if I hit the L key, see how it selects everything, but if I open up this select linked here that's come up, I open it up and I say seam, it will only select, like my selection will stop at that seam. And this isn't useful for, I don't know, just selecting parts. Like you can kind of block off, then you can hit the L key and select different areas more, quicker, instead of having to select all the faces and then that way you can move the ear a lot more easily. So I think this is good now for what I wanted to do for this video. I just wanted to show you kind of the way I create a human head. I think there is more shaping that could be done, but like, I think the back of the head, I don't think it's big enough. At least my head is bigger than this. Yeah, let's just shape this out for the thumbnail, and at least I can say the thumbnail was created in the video. Yeah, I think it's too big. That's better. I should have had a reference image for like a head off to the side, but I didn't plan that far. So, but I think this is good enough for now. Let's see. Yeah, the head is looking pretty weird right there. So you got to kind of look at it from all angles and see what looks right and wrong. It's kind of blending in. So I'm going to, like, this gray is kind of blending into the background here. So I'm going to turn on matte cap and I'm going to make it red, I think. Yeah, that's nice. So, all right. So I think that is looking decent, and we have all the basic edge flow lines. Let's turn on, you can come in here and turn on geometry, the wireframe. That'll overlay here. So that's kind of nice. You can see the edge flow that we've created. This is a good base, and if you follow the tutorial and you want to make, reshape the face and make a different face, I think this is a good start. So I might do more. I might sculpt a face and then try that workflow and see, talk about how I feel about that, and compare like how this is done to how that, sculpting is done. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see, and thank you for watching.